Hey y'all, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to finally be doing the part 2 to my June wrap up, even though it's the middle of July. So yeah, so in the second half of, or the last week and a half of June, I read 5 books, 3 ebooks, and then 2 physical books. So I'll be going through all that with you, rating, summary, blah blah. I'm sorry if you see my hair move like this or anything. I have a fan on me because it's really hot. I can't turn it off. I will literally die, so I'm sorry. But yeah, let's just get into this. So the first book I'm going to be talking about is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. So basically it's about this girl named Cameron who's like a super popular girl, but she's very vain and she's just like brutally honest to the point where it's like just rude to be honest. So yeah, so she has a crush on her friend named Andrew, and basically she ends up being really rude to someone else in front of him. And so in order to like try to win him over, she thinks that she has to be more like Kate in A Taming of the Shrew and like become more tame and like not as mean. Which like I'm not saying she like it doesn't sound that great, but yeah, so I do think that I get like she's trying to be a better person, but like some ways obviously she goes about it in like the wrong motives, but obviously character arc, blah 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 blah. I don't want to spoil anything. So yeah, so I gave this 3.75 out of 5 stars. I thought it was good, not as good as, like I said, their first book, but I feel like it took a little while to get into because the character was so annoying, and she sort of reminded me of some people that I just don't like, frankly. But once she like went through that character arc and like started changing, I really couldn't put the story down because it was really cool. There's also like a cosplay like Rocky Horror Show portion in this book, which is so cool. I have seen that in a few different books and it makes me really want to watch it because I've never seen Rocky Horror. But yeah, I just think it's so cool, and I love seeing the references to Shakespeare and The Taming of the Shrew because I say I love Shakespeare. I've only read 3 or 4 plays, but I'm hoping to read more. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. The next book I read, I'm really excited about this, was Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. This was the first book that I read for Summerathon, so if you haven't seen my Summerathon vlog, I'll link it right over here. But yeah, so this follows our main character named Taylor Edwards, and basically she's going into, I think, her junior or senior year of high school, and she just got news that her father has like stage 4 untreatable cancer. So her father's like last wish is for them all to go, like her and her brother, older brother and younger sister, to go to the like lake house that they haven't been to in 5 years because they all got busy with their own lives and just never went back. But Taylor left 5 years ago not in the greatest place with a few different people, so it's really a story of her coming to terms with her grief and spending time with her family while she still has it, and you know, showing that it's okay to like have your own lives, but like to come together and have that family time together is so important. And I don't know, I just loved this book. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Originally I was gonna give it a 4.5 because I'm really having a hard time giving out 5 stars, but no, this was a 5-star. I cried, I laughed, I loved. This was just everything. Since this is such like a long book, I think it's almost 500 pages, yeah. So since it's so long, like you really get to know these characters and they become like very real, and you just get emotionally attached to them and you just want them to do well. So man, this is like literally become one of my favorite books. So highly recommend. It's perfect for summer. It has a very summery feel, but with a hard-hitting undertone, and I just think it was great. especially it was really cool to see the depiction of like grief in this and how they're, you know, coming to terms with their grief and stuff, and it was just really good. This is one of my favorite Morgan Madsens. I've read 3. I've read Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. I'm not filling all these out. I've read Since You've Been Gone, which was the other 5-star. So I'm really happy that this was a 5-star. So the next and last other physical book that I have to show you guys that I read for summerthon was When Diplomat Richie by Sanjay Manan. This is an Own Voices like Indian representation, which is really cool, but this is following our main characters Dimple and Rishi, as the name would entail, and they are going to this like pre-college like summer camp thing for is it like, it's web developers. I was gonna say app design, but yeah. So basically they're going to this web development camp, and Dimple's just wants to go there because she wants to be a web developer, and she's going to be attending Stanford the next year for web development, I think, or something like that, some college, I don't remember at this point. But yes, so she is going there for that, but Rishi, his parents have set him up with Dimple, like, to see if they're compatible to be married. So he goes there not really because he's interested in web development, but because he's interested in, you know, getting to know her, because their parents have like set them out. But when he sees her, he like goes up to her and it's like very like, hi, and she doesn't know who he is because her parents didn't tell her that they were setting her up. So yeah, and then antics ensue. So basically for this one, the first like half of this book, I feel like nothing happened. Like it was very boring introductions to characters and stuff. So the first half, I feel like this is a very common theme for me, is I like get very bored in the first half of the book, but I just push through, and then after the 150 page mark, the rest of the book goes great. So like how I thought about it was like the first half was like a 2-star, and then the end was a 4-star. So I gave this a 3-star, averaging the 2. But yeah, I think the diversity is great. It was great to see, you know, these main characters, and there is a lot of talk about Indian culture and like being Indian American and what that means and stuff. So I think that this probably would mean a lot to someone who could relate to it, but also it was really cool to just see the culture represented in this book. Right, the 4th book, and in my opinion the worst book of the month, or one of the worst books of the month, but you know, the worst from this half. This was Binti by Nanedi Okorafor, and this is a novella length fantasy series. Like the first book in a fantasy series. This, I'm literally gonna have to look up the description because I don't remember. 1 second. Yeah, so it's only 96 pages, which leads to some of my issues with it. But yes, so this is about Binti, who is the first one of her people to be offered a place at this university called UMSA, I don't know how you say that, which is like on another planet in this galaxy. But then when she go to that university with all the other students who are going there, it's like attacked by this like other race of like, I don't know, this other race of beings, and basically it's about her going to this camp by herself, or this school by herself, and how she keeps saying like her people are like looked down upon and like stuff. I don't really know. It was just not my thing. I know a lot of people love this, but it was just blah for me. Like I felt like I was constantly telling me things instead of like showing me what was happening. And though I appreciated the like representation, because it was like based off of African mythology or something, like the author is African, I believe. I'm sorry, I don't know the specifics, but yeah, I just felt myself getting very bored, and for it being 96 pages, this took me 2 days to read because I just wasn't interested. But yeah, and I feel like nothing really happened. I know this is 96 pages and stuff, but like I just didn't get the point of it. That's really mean. Okay, I'm sounding really mean, so I'm just gonna stop. But basically, I didn't enjoy it, and that's that. And the last book that I read in June was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Sean McGuire. This is book 2 in the Word Children series. This is a prequel to the first book. And this is what I mean by like the last book, like it could have done so much more, because this is 187 pages and there was so much more packed into the story, and it just felt much more purposeful. But yeah, so this is following Jack and Jill, who we meet in Every Hearted Doorway, and this is them going into their portal world and what happened there. And it really gives a lot of information that helps us understand the events of Every Hearted Doorway, but also a lot of it was spoiled because of Every Hearted Doorway. So it's like hard to understand, because if you read it the other way, like reading this first, this would spoil Every Hearted Doorway in a little bit, and vice versa. So like either way you read it, they're both spoiling each other, which is why I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars instead of a 5, because I felt like I already knew parts of it and stuff, but it was cool to see more of, like, to see their actual portal world, because we just hear about what happened in the first book. But yeah, it's really cool to see that, but I don't know. But basically, I didn't really explain. So in this, Jack is short for Jacqueline, who is like her mother's perfect daughter, never gets dirty, always wears dresses. And Jill is the tomboy, short for Jillian. And the tomboy, and has like, her father has like given her like, has like forced masculinity on her, and Jack has been forced femininity. So when they go into this portal world, they're, you know, change those roles. But yeah, it was really cool. It's honestly starts a topic, which I think is what it meant to do, about forcing things upon children like that, and like not letting children like be who they want to be, which I thought was really interesting. But overall, I'm really enjoying this series, and it's really quick for me to read. I usually read them in one sitting because they're less than 200 pages. So I'm really excited to go on to Beneath the Sugar Sky. I think that's the one I'm on. I might be wrong. But book 3. Sometime soon. But yeah, so those are the 5 books that I read in, like I said, the last week and a half of June. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.